Well, hey there. It's me, the old guy, jamming. And again, today I'm not going to be jamming. I usually don't talk about my stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff, but Danny West asked me to do a short video on my gear and talk a little bit about each piece. So, hey, why not? So, Danny West, this is for you. I'll just kind of go around the room. Not a whole lot of stories here, but there are some. First of all, there's only been a couple of guitars in my life that really just sang to me. That minute I picked it up, well, the minute, 5 minutes maybe after picking it up, I realized that wow, yeah, this is gonna work. This is good. And one of those was this Taylor. It's a 114 model, and the neat thing about this is they don't make it anymore. This is an all wood model. The models that came afterward now have laminate sides and back, and they still have the Sitka spruce top. But this one here is all wood. I've looked up the serial number, and it's legit. The bone is browning out, yellowing out, real nice. The nut is browning out, real nice, yellowing. It's a beautiful guitar. It really resonates. It barks. The LR Bags pickup is super cool. Very nice way to go with an acoustic. And I remember punching a hole down here in the bottom for the jack. That was one of the scariest times of my entire life, punching a hole in this nice guitar. Now, one story, see that scratch right there? I came in here, we had my friend's kids over here, a couple of boys. This didn't have a scratch on it. I come in here, and these guys are ripping on my guitar, just beating the heck out of it, strumming it. But they didn't know any better. But it's got some scratches here now. And they also scratched it up a little bit down here. And it's really soft because it's an all wood top. There's no coat, there's no finish on it. So it really mars up easily. But every time I play it, I rub in those, I spend a few moments rubbing those with my fingers, and they're slowly going away. And, it wouldn't be so bad if I had done that to my guitar, but I didn't. It was somebody else. They're kids. The Marshall DSL 40CR, the new Marshall. Awesome amp, but no stories other than I had $700 cash to spend. Went down to Guitar Center in Sacramento and talked to the first place, and the guy was giving me a bunch of hassle about, and I said, hey, okay, whatever. So I called Josh, the manager over at the Roseville Center, and he said, sure, I'll do that. I'll work it for you. Come on by. And I actually got it out the door for $683. If you subtract, some sales tax from that, it even beats Sweetwater's price. Super happy. I'm going to do a review of that. Just an incredible amp, and with the low power mode, it works even really well for bedroom playing. You get some really good tones, and when you want to crank it up, man, the thing just wails. So compressed that Marshall Clean and the Marshall lead tones are very unique, very cool. Down here on the floor right now, not too much. A looper, love loopers. I rely on them heavily. The only Behringer pedal that I like thus far, I haven't bought a lot of them, but for 25 bucks, this Echo Machine is great. I can't say enough about it. Analog Chorus, I'm definitely going to do a review of this. The MXR Analog Chorus, it is beautiful. It's just got a little bit of a flange sound to it. It's very subtle, but it is exactly what I was looking for. I don't like things that make me sound like I'm out in space. I don't like effect pedals to be weird like that. Just a subtle, just a little bit of color. And this MXR is beautiful. It's got a great chorus tone, but there's when you turn the dirt on, there's a bit of a flange type to it. Old school jet flange, and it's as quiet as can be. There's no additional that you get with some stuff. This tremolo, really cool, $35 pedal that my kids just got me for Christmas. Love those kids. They're awesome. Some of my books. Petrucci book, the A minor pentatonic, of course, and its positions. The other thing I'd recommend for anybody, there's an Yngwie Malmsteen song I'm learning. This deal right here. Get you going on your modes. 3-note per string, major scale modes. Dynamite. My Schecter bass, which I'm trying to sell. So, not a big deal there. No story. I like to rap on the bass once in a while. How about this? Have you seen these? Thunder tubes. That's fun. Cats. They're great for cats. Cats love them. Up here, OCD 7th version. I think they're probably up on 11 or 14 by now, but that's a version 7. A little motorcycle my kid got me when she was about 5. She thought Daddy would like to rip on the motorcycle. Full bore metal, great pedal, but so mid-scooped that your amp has to be, you really have to have a really mid-range strong amp, like an Orange or something. But it's got its purpose. It's a good pedal. The noise gate on it works really good. No one's a real guitar player without a wah pedal. Dunlop wah with a little boost. I like it. This is kind of interesting. I bought this because, for one, it's 50 bucks. It's cheap. Paul Gilbert loves it. He keeps raving about the old Mojo. And this pedal I've had, not this one, but I've had 3 of them. I keep buying it, selling it, buying it, selling it, buying it, selling it. And so this, I decided to finally buy it and just keep it. Because as a standalone, it's not the best. It's not very transparent. But as a pedal to push your signal into some compression, it's pretty good. It does its thing. It's different. Very not a lot of space between the waveform. If that makes any sense. It will do if any of you are familiar with scopes, waveforms, and whatnot. There's not a lot of space between the patterns there. The Joyo compressor has its purposes. And then all my stuff up here. I've got tools, my tubes. These are in a bag because they are a matched set of JJs. Some polish, my oils, F1. Here's my nice box of strings and other junk. Cover plates, capos, my old man flashlight because old guys have no eyes anymore. I've got my ears though, pretty happy. Boss drum machine right there. The Black Star HT50, another really awesome head. I got to do a review of that. And with its 5-watt setting, it is great for bedroom playing as well. And if you want to crank it up, man, it's got it. But super great. Got this as a scratch dent from Sweetwater. Again, my buddy at Sweetwater. It's even got the paper description plate on the top of it still. And this thing I got out the door, I don't even want to tell you, 5:30. 5:30. Showed up on my doorstep. I can't see anything wrong with it. I went over it. There's not a scratch on it. It still has the paper on it. It's just beautiful. Everything works. And it screams. Different enough from the Marshall. And the cleans are great. They're more Fender-esque than the Marshall, but super nice amp. And when you want that tone, dang, the Black Star is dirty, but it's dirty in a different way. It's more modern. It's a little tighter, whereas the Marshall's a little looser, but it's dirty too. This Marshall's great. Moving over here, no story reel here, except it's another. Both these were demos. And so got them for really good deals. This one blew up on me one time. It didn't blow up, but there was a small short on the circuit board. Sent it down to my buddy Blad at Egnator and got it back a week later, fixed, and haven't had any problems with it since. While they had it and they were checking it, they went ahead and redid the bias. And when it came back, it sounded even better than it ever had before. Below that, we've got a VHT, and I picked this up because it's an American cab with a speaker in it, and that's unusual to find. I got it for 120 for that cab, used, and it's a little bit older, but I had it in here comparing it to a Hughes and Kettner cab, which is I think $329. It's a pretty expensive cab, and this one sounded every bit as good. In fact, it sounded better to me, so I kept the VHT. Wouldn't you? Sure, right? Um, let's see, any stories there? No, no stories there. I sealed this one up. This has a vent right over here in the front, and it was releasing some high frequency twangs that I really didn't like. Chased around trying to figure out what it was, put a new speaker in it, made it better, but there was still some strangeness. I remembered back to when I had a Vox AD, what were those things? AD 120 VT or something, was one of their modeling amps, but a beast. And I actually, in that one, had some high frequency ringing stuff that I didn't like. And I took the back off the cabinet and lined it with fiberglass, some old insulation that I had lying around. Just stapled it in there. And it was too much. I lost too much of the high end the first time I did it. So I went back in, took the bottom section out, left the sides with fiberglass on them, and it ended up sounding great. So I don't even know, is it just me? Is it my ear that hears these things and I don't like it? Do all of you go through this? Do you hear things that other people hear? Or do some people not hear it and everything just sounds great? I don't know. But I'm pretty particular about my tone, and if I hear something that I don't like, I get after trying to get rid of it. Either sell it or just get rid of it. I have HKs. I've played everything. I've had PVs, the classic 30s, the PVs, the HKs. I've had pretty much everything in here. And what I have now is, to me, the finest gear available. That's just my opinion, though. But I like how everything sounds, and it's all a bit different. It's different enough that I can appreciate it without just one being another copy of something else. Sounds just like it, but it's named different. They all sound unique to me, and they all sound quality to me. All right, pedal board. A little bit of story on the pedal board. This is actually made from some old shelving that I helped a buddy of mine take out of a fruit shed that belonged to his dad in high school. These were pine shelves that were banded with steel, so some old school stuff. And the shed had been on their property for 20 or 30 years or more, and so the wood itself is getting to be where it's almost 100 years old. And I went ahead and cut it up, put it together, shellacked it, stapled it, glued it, nailed it, and put the sticky stuff on it, Velcro, and it turned out very nice. I think it turned out just like I hoped it would. I did have this stuff under here all laced up nice and tight, wrapped up with the wires routed neatly. However, that lended itself to some capacitance between the conductor, non-conductor, conductor, non-conductor. When you wrap all those cords up nice and neat, it looks good, but you end up with some unwanted noise sometimes. So I ended up having to just leave it all wild like that. Doesn't look very nice, but that's okay. It sounds better. But no real stories down here. Another gift from my kids. Great little pedal. It's everything they say it is. A little mini tube screamer. This Timmy, one of the best overdrives I've ever had. Very transparent. Your guitar tone always comes through as you turn up the gain. You never lose your guitar tone. It just gets a little dirtier. Super nice pedal. And I traded a guy this for a Boss Wazacraft Blues Driver, which I hated anyway. I hated the boss and I'd spent extra money to get that Wazacraft. And I thought, oh, geez, what a waste of dough that was. But then found a guy who wanted to trade me this Timmy. So I bit and I tried it, and what a great deal for me. Sorry, guy, not a great deal for you unless you love it. Great reverb with shimmer, nice shimmer effect. To get anything better than that, you got to get up to a Neuenauber, which is pricey, 270 or so for a Neuenauber. Neuenauber, and or get into the Strymon stuff. But this MXR reverb with its shimmer is great. Flashback delay is super. Ditto is great. No story here other than they were not being made anymore when I wanted one. This is a all-in-one modulation pedal. Has phaser, flanger, two choruses, tremolo, and rotary. And for the most part, does all those things really well. Uh, so I liked the idea of this rather than having, 4 or 5 other pedals on my board. With this, I get away with all those modulation effects through one. It does have a little bit of a hiss when you're running the tremolo or rotary. But other than that, the chorus is great. Flanger's okay. The phaser's kind of fun, although I'm not a huge phaser guy. And then my Monoprice Stage Right. First video I ever did was for this little guy right here, and that's 170 bucks flat shipped to my house. You can still get these. It's a great tube amp. It's one channel, 15 watts, 12-inch speaker, has an effects loop, separate gain and volume, has a master, has a real spring reverb. It's great. Nice little amp. I haven't had any problems with mine, but I'm thinking about moving it out by the piano because that's when I usually feel like the old guy out there and strummel through something that's more vintage sounding. It's beautiful. First tube amp I ever bought, Blackstar HT from Sweetwater. EVH, no story there, other than I've compared it to the MT-15 by PRS and decided to keep the EVH. It's got a lot more soul, in my opinion. This is kind of interesting. There's Wolfgang. Wow, am I going on too long? All right, hang on, Danny West. We're almost done. This Wolfgang, I wanted the gold top, but I didn't have the money while they were still available at Sweetwater. And so when I did finally have the cash, because as you know, as Grandpa always taught me, don't buy something until you have the money. Credit is for fools. Anyway, so I finally had the money in hand to go ahead and buy this. But by then, Sweetwater was out. It's a limited run. They only do gold once, and then they're done. And so then I had to start looking around the country for ones that were available either from, through Reverb, and they have access to all sorts of shops. Lots of shops advertise on Reverb. And I started finding them, and I ordered them, and I would get them, but they would have a lot of extra gold blemishes around the pickups, or there'd be big puddles of gold in this little indentation right here on the body. So there was all sorts of finish flaws, and it was terrible. You can kind of see right here where it's a little heavier around that pickup, and that's not bad at all. I can live with that. You can see where it's just kind of heavy around that hole, and that's okay. Some of them were so bad you could see it across the room. But I actually I received three of these at home, unboxed them, and had to return them because of finish flaws. And this is from all over the country. New York, Texas, the Tone Shop in Texas is where I finally got this one. And by this time, I'm calling people and saying, hey, can you unbox that before you ship it? Because this is the problem I'm having. And the Tone Shop in Texas was really awesome. Unboxed it. He had two. One he was real surprised at. He thought, I can't sell this. So he told me he's going to have to send that back to Fender because you could see it clear across his showroom. He said it was terrible. But the other one was good. And that was this one. And he boxed it up and shipped it out. Super nice guitar. I bought it for the neck. Quarter sawn maple, unfinished, and it is just so silky smooth. It is just a delight to play. Plus, it rocks really hard when you're in the mood for something like that. My Telecaster, American Modern Player, which has never been real modern to me. But I'm working on it, and it's getting better and better. The finish on these is a mile deep. It looks so pretty. So pretty. I've put new string saver bridge pieces on the bottom here, which helped immensely. One thing that I did have on this guitar was a notch out of the back right here that was as big as my thumb, literally. And I filled it and did some patchwork. I could do a little more. It looks worse in the video than it actually is. I could probably, put some more shellac, some lacquer on that and work it out even more. But for all intents and purposes, you're seeing a lot of light reflecting off it rather than anything else. I was okay with it. I'm happy. The rest of the guitar is absolutely cherry. Absolutely cherry. But because of that, got this for $260. That's a great deal. I was willing to work on it, but literally the size of my thumb chunk out of the back. No story here other than I wanted to have, kept hearing about PRSs, and I had an old PRS semi-hollow body and always fought it. The neck moved a lot. I had to put new pickups in it. I put a hot rodded set of pickups in it, Seymour Duncans, just to get the tone I wanted. I wanted to believe in the PRS brand. Everybody kept talking about PRS. And then Shane on In the Blues was playing one of these, and I think it's beautiful. I wanted one. I liked the looks, but I was leery because it's a lot of money for a guitar that I'm not sure is really worth the cash. But Shane's a good guy. I like his reviews, and he told, well, he had a video where what was it, 5 things. Everybody's doing 5 things videos. 5 best amps I've ever played. 5 best guitars that I no longer own. Wish I did. 5 things he loved about this guitar. And so I always wanted one because it's just so pretty. Anyway, I bit, and I do love it. It's really nice. I'm running 9.5s on it instead of 10s. 9s are too light for me, but I do like the 9.5s, and it's probably the nicest guitar I have. The finish on this, the workmanship on this guitar is absolutely stunning. And I went ahead and got the model with the full maple cap instead of the veneer. It was only $60 more or something. And again, this was a scratch and dent demo from Sweetwater. The pictures they sent showed scratches on the pickups and scratches on the bridge somewhere. And when I got it, I couldn't even find the same scratches they were talking about. So I got that for $630, which was a really good deal on that one as well. And it is a beautiful guitar. And the pickups are much better than the original PRS pickups they used to put in their guitars. I didn't like them. They needed to be upgraded. But these are nice. They're not as... still have quite a bit of output. Not quite as dirty as an ESP. But definitely can get in there and groove. And that's fine. You don't always have to rock heavy metal. Now this is my ESP right there. MH100 QMNT. This is a beast. This I bought for $170 out of some guy's garage in my hometown, and I love this guitar. It is my favorite go-to guitar. It's got some dings, not a whole lot, but it's kind of beat up down here around the bottom. It's got some dings on the back. I had to reroute a grounding wire to the bridge because the internal wire came off. So I soldered the wire to a washer right there and hid it under the Tune-o-matic bridge so that, because I was getting some grounding noise. It was noisy until I touched the strings and then it would be quiet. So I had a grounding issue. The internal wire came off this post. So I just rerouted a wire up from under the pickup, soldered it to a washer and stuck it under the bridge there. And this is my go-to guitar. It's 170 bucks, like I said, and I love it. It does everything for me. It rocks hard. It does the clean. It does the blues. I've had it the longest. I've worked on it the most. The action on it is killer. And once in a while, you'll still see this same model on Craigslist for about $250, sometimes with a case for $300 or $280, right in that mark, $220. And I've thought about buying another one when I see it just to put it in storage, just because it's just such a solid, nice guitar. And I think the quality overall of guitars is going down these days. I don't think, or there's just special runs that are real good. Because I've played a lot of guitars in searching for these instruments that give me, like my amps, they give me unique tonal things I'm looking for, unique feel and unique tonal qualities, characteristics. So that I just don't have a lot of junk. I don't want to have guitars for having guitar's sake. I want to have guitars that will allow me to express what I need to express in a way that's healthy, better than some alternatives. All right. Had some Strats. I had a Strat. Didn't like it. The Telecaster is squawky enough to me. Hey, while we're in here, I do a bit of watercolor. There's my polar bear, my rock, my fish. I like it. This is another nice way to alleviate stress rather than some other ways that aren't quite as healthy. This is one of my favorites. Frog eating fly. That's cool stuff. All right. Well, and I think that's it, Danny West. So thanks for asking. I never really had planned to talk about my own stuff. It's not about me. But since you asked, I'm happy to oblige. I hope you've enjoyed. It was really enjoyable for me taking some of those trips down memory lane. So thank you very much. Happy New Year. Old Guy Jammin', out.